Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hey, my friends. Hello and welcome to the show tonight. Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm good, Scott. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween to everyone. And look, I don't even want to make this a long introduction because we have 54 minutes to do this show. And the guests today, people have been biting at the bit to talk to them. Hello, Timothy. Thanks for writing in. Andrea has written the trilogy that has inspired the Conjuring movies. And she lived in the farm on Round Top Road, which was now known the worldwide as the Conjuring House. And of course, Jacqueline, who is the owner of the Conjuring House. So the two together, we've got a powerhouse couple here to chat with us. Please feel free. If you have any questions about the house, these are the people you want to ask. Just type it into the chat and Chanel will put it up on the screen. If you have questions about the movie and all the things that didn't really happen, Andrea's one will be here to set you straight. So,
or anything that goes bump in the night. We will discuss it.
Absolutely. Without further ado, my dear friend Andrea Perron and Jacqueline Nuñez, thank you so much for being here. There they are. How are you?
Hello, ladies.
Hi. Oh, God. Every time I see her, she looks better than the last time I saw her. It's like, what are you doing? Like sleeping in a vat of formaldehyde? What?
She has that pictures hidden in her attic, that painting.
I just got my hair cut, so it looks good today.
Very nice.
Oh, it does. It does indeed.
Are you in the house tonight, Jacqueline?
No, I'm at my house. I'm at my home in Boston.
That's why. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can just look at the backdrop and say, nope, she's not at the farm.
That's not it. Thank you so much for being here. And, I've asked people if they have any questions to come on and just ask away. I know you like to chat about the house and your experiences there. So Halloween is coming up, and I know you've got some stuff going on over the weekend, and I can't wait to be there and join the both of you.
That's great.
It's very exciting. So watching The Conjuring with Andrea Perron.
Yes, we are. So
that'll be thrilling.
Yeah, we are completely. We've kicked things off this week. We have a bunch of tours and night investigations, but then we really gear it up for the weekend. We are just completely sold out, and we have to watch the movie with Andrea. We have 2 nights of doing it, Sunday and actually on Halloween night. I mean, how cool is that to watch the Conjuring movie on Halloween Eve and Halloween at the Conjuring House with Andrea Perron? I mean, it just doesn't get better than that.
Really? How cool is that?
Yeah.
And I can't wait for her to sit there and say, nope, that didn't happen.
I know.
Yeah, that happened, but it didn't happen that way. Yeah. And the one thing I need to clarify is that the first of the films in the Conjuring series is it's not based on my books, although the producers did cherry pick a little information out of there. Jonathan. Oh, and Neil. Oh my God. Neil.
My friend.
That's Neil, from England is watching.
He stayed
up. Laura from Florida up the road from me. I love you girls. And Sarah's here. And oh my God. Okay. So we've got a good house. Just the first movie is what really launched the whole series. And before anybody asks it, I'm going to tell you that Hollywood is so cynical that they wrapped the whole story of the Annabelle doll into the first movie to set up what they planned on being the second movie. So we never knew there was an Annabelle doll. We never heard about the Annabelle. We certainly never met the Annabelle doll. There was no Annabelle doll in our netherworld when the Warrens were involved. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want people to watch all of the films and see if, the cast of characters is completely different. I think the second or the third one was about the Enfield poltergeists, and that was set in England.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Mary Beth Reimer wants, have any of your pets been interacting with the spirits?
Yes, they have. And one of my cats in particular actually loves being up in the most active room, and she just lounges on one of the beanbag chairs and just kind of hangs out, and I can see her like head moving to like look at something, but it doesn't scare her. One of my other cats got very terrified one time. I don't know what happened. And then my dog Dottie, my sweet dog Dottie, she's much more afraid of the living than she is the spirits in the house.
I will.
You know what? Most of us are, Jacqueline. I am so much more afraid of the living than
all the smart ones are. My mother always said, "Fear the living, not the dead."
That's right. It's true.
Jacqueline, will your dogs go in dog go in the basement?
She has gone in the basement just once or twice. She can't manage to get back up though, so I don't let her go down. But she's not afraid.
It's not a fear thing.
No, we have had sessions with Cody and Satori, and it gets very intense when you have a session with Cody and Satori, and she just lays there by me and doesn't even react. So it's good.
Wow, that is good, because you don't want to scare the animals. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The last time I was there, we were the few of us that were left at the house quite late after everyone else had ushered out. Dottie was sitting next to me in the middle bedroom upstairs, and you had both of the cats in your arms in the beanbag chair, and they were amazing. I mean, the animals are so tuned into the place. That was not our experience when we lived there. Our animals got very, very freaked out. We had animals that left home, that would not stay and moved in with neighbors and things like that, and it was, although, I had some kind of a visitation overnight last night. I went out with my little peanut butter cup. She's sleeping. At about 2:30 in the morning. And when we came back in, she went bouncing up onto our bed, and I laid down in what was still a warm spot that I had left behind. And she just looked over my shoulders and over my head, like, but there was no fear on her face, none at all. But she saw something phenomenal that was in the room with us. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was my sister or another loved one, or if it was, my galactic family. I don't know. I didn't even turn around and look. All I did was I patted her and stroked her face, and I said, "Okay, honey, just lay down. They're our friends. They're just our friends." And I laid down. She crawled up under the blanket, and both of us were out like a light. So, I'm used to that. I mean, this is my paranormal life is absolutely normal. So, I'm really glad that Jacqueline's animals have acclimated to the farm so well, because it's such a wonderful, wonderful environment, especially for Dottie. Dottie is a really special dog. I just love her. She's a Shar-Pei.
She's a nice little dog. She's a sweet.
She is. Well, she's got a whole lot of your chill. She does.
Yeah. What's very interesting, when every medium event that we've had, and I think we've had 4, she will go around the room and greet every person who's preparing for the spirit messages from, it's been Tiffany Rice and Karen Tencher, but that's the only time that she's ever done that. And she greets every single person that's in attendance. It's very sweet. I don't know.
She is.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
She's an old soul.
I also take the fact that they're not reacting in a frightened way or freaked out as also an indication of that the energy in the house it's not evil, right? It's not, there are no bad intentions. So
exactly.
The energy
the animals sense these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if an animal feels safe, then you should also feel safe.
Yeah.
Andrea, what do you think changed? I mean, as you said,
Jacqueline. Jacqueline changed the energy in the house.
Really?
Yep. And I knew it the moment that I met her. I'm sorry to talk about you as though you're in the third person. You're right here. I see you in your little square, my darling. But I'm just saying that, there's just something absolutely magical and mystical and old world and old soul and totally gets it about Jacqueline Nuñez. She was the perfect choice to buy the farm. And now I feel like the farm has been almost like stuck like a bud for, hundreds of years, like a tight bud. And since she has assumed ownership of it, it is beginning to open and blossom in the most remarkable way. I can't wait to get there. To me, it's going home. She knows that very well. It is, I'm going home.
That's great. Julie Griffin just said, I agree that Jacqueline has brought in a special light.
Yep.
I think that's wonderful. I have a question for you, Jacqueline. Some people have said this, and I'm wondering if you find this, that when they buy a house with active spirit, the house chose them. They were just somehow obsessed with, I need this house. I need to be in this house.
Yeah.
And did you find that also?
Yeah, I had in a lot of ways, a parallel experience with what your mom had, Andrea. So I was only, I was on my phone. I had woken up on a random Saturday at the end of September of last year. And I always go through Google trending. I just went, hey, what's trending on Google today? And the Conjuring House for sale came up. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So, and of course I had loved the movie and had already, prior to this, had seen it a million times. So I just knew at that moment, that, oh my God, I need to go see, I have to have this house. And then when I stepped foot on the property, it was just a done deal. It's like, I have to get this house. So it was immediate and just visceral.
And how have the spirits in the house reacted? How is it different? Now, I've not been there since you've taken over. So.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, the house has become more active since I've owned it. That's for sure. I mean, we are getting just so much activity. We're even getting activity on our hour day tours. People are having voices whisper in their ears. People are being touched. People are capturing voice. I mean, it's just amazing. People are taking photos of full body apparitions. This is on a day tour. So it's been, I love it. It's been wonderful. I mean, definitely the entity, whoever it is, Andrea, that was around, that had the broken neck, that presents that way, that traumatized your family. That entity is definitely still there.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's there, but we don't, kind of like, whatever you feed will grow. So we just don't give this entity, whatever it is, attention or energy, or try not to draw much attention to whether her or it or whatever it is. We really don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
I feel such tremendous compassion for her. And I don't know who she is. None of us know who she is. There was only one spirit in the house that while we lived there that ever self-identified. Now, subsequently, with, all these years later with, Cody and Satori, we've got spirits coming through, saying their names, giving their birth dates. I mean, Jacqueline was sitting on her phone during a session with them a few months ago. I was sitting there too, and Abigail Arnold came through, and they asked her for her date of birth and her date of death, and all of a sudden Jacqueline's like, here she is on Ancestry, in real time.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. And, none of that technology existed when we lived there. Right. I think I only ever caught one photo of spirit in the house. Just one. that was it. And I was, you know, predominantly the photo taker in the family. But I'll tell you, it is, wait, there's a question. It's going to be an event similar last year at the house online. No, it's not. It's not going to be an online thing. It's going to be a very personal, intimate thing, unless Jacqueline has made arrangements that I don't know about yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are trying to, I've been frantically working on this for the last 6 weeks. We are going to be launching a subscription service so that people can watch the house 12 hours a day, 8 different rooms, and look for activity. So like I said, I've been working on it for a long time. We finally just got all the cameras installed for this new system. So I do think I'm going to try and do like an online streaming event of one of the witching hour ghost hunts, but I can't do the movie. I can't do the movie. I can get in trouble for that.
Right.
You could get in trouble for, yes, you could.
Yes.
But but we're targeting Sunday night. It's a ghost hunt event with Cody and Satori and Madison Heinzen hosting a ghost hunt that I'm targeting as to kind of be just like a teaser and a taster of this online thing. So that's the answer. That's what I know it's going to be like super short notice. Everyone's going to get notice, you know, like 12 hours before or something. So, but it is what it is.
It is. I think it's a great idea. You know, anything that can draw people in. You know, there are people all around the country and all over the world that would very much love to go do this event live with us, but they can't. And so this is, thank you, Nathan. Oh, he's so sweet. This is an opportunity for them to feel like they're involved in this process and with us being there. And I'll tell you one thing that we can do is we can take photographs of us watching the movie, because, you know, screenshots and stuff, like when the white cat comes up, you know, we could take a picture of that with me saying, I have that picture in my office, which I do.
And I mean, could we live stream showing you what? I mean, like, I'm just afraid.
Yeah. No, you can live stream. No, Warner Brothers gave me permission for all of that. And the reason that they did was I was quite literally the only person affiliated with The Conjuring that was willing to go put myself out there to promote the film for the studio. Everybody else did a little of this and a little of that. And then they were like, nope, no more. And it was because there were so many incidents that occurred on the set and at the hotel where everyone was staying. The hotel caught on fire. The entire cast and crew was out in the parking lot in their jammies as the fire burned. They never discovered a source of the fire. You know, and that's the only story I ever tell of the cast and crew of the film. I let them tell their own stories, but oh my God, did I get an earful the night of the cast party after the film had opened. And, you know, and then I understood why Warner Brothers called me and asked to, you know, to pack a couple of bags and go hither, thither, and yon for 3 months prior to and then post opening of the film. It's one of the few films that has ever stayed in the theater for months and months. I think it was actually in theaters for close to 5 months.
Really?
That never happens with feature films.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm biased, but I certainly think the first one is the best one of the bunch. But of course,
I do too, but I've not seen any of the others, so I really don't know.
It's pretty awesome how the Conjuring universe, the most successful horror franchise in the history of movie making, it's pretty incredible. Aren't they coming out with a Conjuring 4?
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we know what the premise is yet?
Yeah, ghost spirits, spooky shit.
And Lorraine Warren.
Let you all in on a little secret. I have been a paranormal investigator for over 14 years. Scary movies scare the bejesus out of me. I've never seen the Conjuring movie.
Come on,
So,
really?
Andrea, will you hold my hand?
No, you are completely on your own,
Oh,
woman.
no.
No, I will not. No.
I'm quite afraid.
You know, what's scary? Your own experiences in the house or the Conjuring movie? Because I know it's different, but you were living it. That's got to be.
Yeah.
The Conjuring doesn't even hold a candle to what happened in that house. They wouldn't tell the real story of what happened. They all read the books. James Wan, the producers, the screenwriters, everybody read my books, and they're like, oh God, we can't tell this story. We can't, and first of all, it wasn't intended to be that anyway, because this was supposed to be on a storyboard on paper, the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, which the studio had procured. So they wanted to do a whole series of films based on their case files, that they had my books as an extra added bonus. And for me to work with them on the film, they didn't actually do anything that I suggested, of course, because they all know everything about everything. And, I lived it. I know nothing. But I was a contributor to the film, and I shared a lot of stories with them. And the screenwriters did want to incorporate elements of the true story. But just because the executives at Warner Brothers wear three-piece suits doesn't mean they're still not fear-based carbon units. And when they read the they sent the screenplay back 7 times. Wow. One for every member of my family, and said, take it out. It will run people right out of the theater. What is the point of investing millions of dollars into making a film that no one stays till the end to watch? And so, I just don't think that they ever gave people, the kind of credit for intelligence that most people, not all, but most deserve. But it's okay, because it completely freed me to tell our own story my own way. And, all these years later, we're still working on making that happen, in spite of the fact that, COVID slammed us all upside the head. And we all lost, pretty much several years of production. And it didn't really stop me. I just worked right here out of my man cave. I have a room over in the corner. It's not how I'm getting to Rhode Island. It's out of commission.
But could you have imagined this, back in the 1970s, that your house, your place that you lived in, with all the horrible stuff that was going on, to your family, you still love the house, and yet, you've got movies and people travel from all over the place to see it because it's famous. It's hard to imagine that you could have even comprehended that back then.
No, I didn't. But I will tell you, and I mean this with all sincerity, the very best thing that ever happened to that remarkable house is Jacqueline. I mean it.
Well, that is a very generous thing to say. I feel like perhaps my presence of it, and I think the Heinzens were going in this direction as well, to begin to change the narrative around the house, because certainly the movie, the Bathsheba and all that stuff, and just people inherently believing that paranormal activity is just inherently evil, right? Yeah. So to just come at it from a completely different perspective, perhaps it is just, maybe how you kind of talked about a flower blossoming, just like allowing the spirits to kind of finally have people that are wanting to understand them. They've been misunderstood, this whole time.
Yes.
And even, and luckily, Andrea, no other family has had the horrific and terrifying things happen to them since your family. And thank God, all what happened to you all is incredible. But what is interesting is how you are still able to come away loving the house, and in many ways having very beautiful experiences there. I think that was one thing that struck me about your books. is because you go into a lot of nuance and detail of that what seems to be these opposite ways to feel, but actually they make sense. Yes, it was scary, but also it was a beautiful experience for you as well.
It was life altering for every single member of our family. And, you know, I wouldn't say that no one else ever had, you know, experiences there that were horrifying to them, because, well, one case in point, for instance, was when our family, all except for Nancy stayed on as the caretaker of the house. But when our family moved to Georgia in June of 1980, at one point, the new owner sent her brother or her brother-in-law. Pam sent her brother or brother-in-law. I can't remember exactly which, but he was a contractor. And he went over to the house to begin some of the work. She wanted to restore it to its original colonial splendor. And she had no intention of moving in with her kids. She just wanted to restore it to start with, and then decide, because they only lived, as the crow flies, like a mile away, right through the backwoods.
The Schwartzes? Are you
the Schwartzes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he left that house. I'm screaming. He left his clothes. He left his tools. He left his truck. He left everything. And the last anybody heard of him up on Round Top was him running down the middle of Round Top Road screaming. And that was, and somebody stopped to help him. That was what I was told by one of the neighbors. And he just kept running. He just kept running. I don't know if he ran all the way back to town or what happened, but they had to send somebody else to collect all of his belongings and his truck. And when Katie and her boyfriend Jay moved into the house after Nancy moved out, they had an experience that was so astounding that Katie called her mother and said, "Come get me, come take the baby." She and her boyfriend Jay had a baby, and they moved in. And Katie had, you know, spent like her whole childhood in that house. She felt safe there. She knew it was haunted, but she didn't feel unsafe there. And there was Nancy had moved to Chepachet, Rhode Island, which is just like 10 miles south. And she got an absolute panicked call from her best friend, Katie, one day. And she said, get up here now. You have to come now. And when Nancy got there, Kate's mom was running out of the house with the baby in her arms and a suitcase. And when Nancy walked into the house, she said it was completely dark in the house, and that there were millions and millions of botflies covering every single pane of glass in every single window in the house, which is not to that extreme, but that happened to us right after we moved in. Botflies everywhere. Nancy said it was so bad, you literally have to take your hand and put it against the glass and swipe them away to be able to let any light in. And doors were smashing open and closing. And there were sounds all through the house of large like objects being dropped overhead. And they ran for their lives. And Katie never, ever went back to the house. So, you know, we stayed there for 10 years and we had lots and lots of experiences. Katie stayed for 2 weeks and got herself into that kind of a mess in the house. So I guess, you know, we were just the long haulers. We were just the ones that stuck it out.
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder what it is. I mean, it doesn't seem as if Norma had experiences like that. I don't really know. She has denounced it all, but certainly.
Yes, she has. After she revealed endless experiences, some of which I have on film from doing interviews with her, then she denied everything, said, everybody go away, no ghosts here. You know, a part of me can't even blame her for doing it because, you know, once the film opened it changed her life, and her privacy was gone. And
Yeah.
but for her to blame it all on me and my family was just wrong. And she has to live with that for the rest of her life. It has no bearing on me or our experiences. We never changed our story. Over 50 years, we never changed our story. She's the one that changed hers.
Yeah. Well, she lived there over 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of the kids that were in the daycare have come back on.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. We had
Wow.
a couple months ago, 2 people came on a tour, and they were telling the tour guide that they remember playing with a child named Michael. And then a pizza delivery guy just the other night was in the daycare. And the caretaker there now, Reed, was like, oh my God, he was totally freaking out. He was explaining to us where all the cribs used to be and how they never would go down in the basement. And so we get a couple of them. I'd love to hear their stories. I'd love to hear the stories from some of the children and the people that worked there as well.
I have letters from the people that worked there, a number of letters detailing things that I will not divulge on the show tonight. But when I get there this weekend, you and I will have a conversation about some of those letters. If I can dig them up before I go, I'll bring them with me.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you think fear gives them energy? You know what I mean? Like, so for example, Jacqueline came in not in a place of fear. She came in a place of light and wonderment, and she's doing all these wonderful things. And yet the activity is great, but it's not making people run out of the house. And yet, you get some people that come in and they have these experiences that they just can't handle for whatever reason. Why is some more than others,
I mean, I do believe that the house is an amplifier for what you bring, for your beliefs and your energy and what you bring to it, that the house will respond to that and amplify it. I do believe that. If you want to go there and be terrified, it'll deliver.
It will deliver. Most homes with spirit are like that. If there's any kind of a negative or, a spirit other than a benign spirit, it will most definitely amplify, and it'll feed on that fear.
Yeah.
And feed on, if someone comes in and is very negative, it will feed on that negativity.
Julie, I don't know if you remember. So I have a spirit guide that comes through every time we're together, and it's really odd. I think I've told you, Andrea, his name is David. He was in Scotland.
Yes.
He's wherever he is, he shows up, and he'll show up on a spirit box or a voice recorder or wherever. We were sitting in the library at the Conjuring House the last time we were there. And David started talking to us, and then it felt funny. I can't tell you exactly what made it feel funny, but it was almost like your grandmother called and you realize it's not quite her voice and that somebody is impersonating your grandmother. Yes. And Julie said to me, "Scott, shut that thing off. That's not him." And I knew it. And we shut it off and we slammed it. But it was weird. There was something coming through that wasn't him. And we started to get responses that weren't accurate.
And that's what they will do, is pretend that it's someone that which is what I said to Scott. But Scott, do you also remember we were upstairs and one of the we had a couple of our friends downstairs investigating with us, investigators. And Janelle came up the stairs and she said, "Scott, they're asking for you." And that's when we went downstairs, and it was the David voice that was attempting to talk to you. And I knew right off, you were not sure, but being an empath, I knew right off. The energy was completely off. David is good and kind and light and benign and helpful. That energy was so far off. And the more that you attempted to talk to it as David, the more it was feeding on that.
It got weird. And I could feel it. It got really weird.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there are definitely, especially down in the basement, a couple of trickster spirits that they like to mess with people. And you ask them who they are, and they'll answer, whoever it is says Satan or Beelzebub, or the latest one was a Russian devil, and like we don't believe, we don't
Right.
yes, it's really not Satan,
Right.
so it's messing with you.
I'll tell you, we were there once. This is a while ago, and somebody came through and said they were the Warrens. Who is this? I don't know if it said Ed Warren, or I don't remember. It was the Warrens, one of them. And I thought, oh, come on, I mean, really, but they do stuff like that. They don't always tell.
They're notorious for it, honestly, not just at the Conjuring House, but anywhere that you're going to investigate. And that's why we tell people to be very, very careful.
But
if a child comes to you.
Yeah. Isn't it fascinating, though? Isn't it absolutely amazing that they are still sentient, prescient beings who can jerk you around?
Absolutely.
They are still conscious.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. And that's why I've been doing this for over 14 years. It fascinates me. I'm addicted to it, honestly. I think I need paranormal or something. I need to go to meetings,
Yeah, right.
Just because they died, it doesn't mean that they've suddenly become angelic, right? Like they're the same.
Thank you.
The same.
You were not a
energy,
nice
the same
person.
belief as when
in life. What makes you think that an SOB in life is not going to be an SOB when they go to the other side? Honestly.
So I tend to be able to talk to them wherever we were sitting here. I'm actually at my office, pulled down the green screen, and we're ready to go. But we were sitting. I had a client, and she was asking me about all this stuff because a lot of them are fascinated. And I said, well, they're in here, touching my hair. Let's talk to them. So we did. And I said, are you good or are you bad? And it said, good. And I said, oh, good, because we don't deal with anyone unless they're in the light. And then they turned around and said, F it. Oh, that was that, They're good, but they're going to tell you off and swear at you, I mean, it is, they're just strange,
Well, Andrea is pure light, and she swears like a sailor.
This is true.
Yes.
I
don't know what the you're talking about.
I said to her, Jacqueline, on her show, and I was saying something, and I have to, I know it's a family-friendly show, and then she showed me it wasn't.
It's family-friendly as long as the kids know the entire litany of swear words. It's fine.
I grew up in Maverick Square, East Boston. I learned them in kindergarten.
Exactly.
In English,
I learned
and
them
Italian because it was an Italian neighborhood.
Oh yeah, and that's good. And it always sounds so much more. I don't know. Just
listen, doesn't Bafangul sound so much more sophisticated?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Much more sophisticated. Yeah.
Andrea.
Oh, Sunday's going to be a fun night.
I know. And and I can swear in French. Oh, honey, I've got an oh my God.
I love it.
It's just it's so beautiful. No, I'll tell you what, it is the thing that excites me the most about going home is that now I have questions that I never thought would ever be answered. That house is still revealing things to us 50 years later. I was a little child, and I learned all my swear words the night that my father threw the Warrens out of the house, the night of the seance that almost claimed my mother's life. I never ever in my lifetime saw him so angry as he was that night, and blamed them for everything that happened, even though I don't think that was fair, because it was really the choices and the decisions that were being made by the medium that dictated the way that energy was shifted and manipulated that night, and doors that were opened that allowed something into that house that I swear to you had never been in that house before, and I have never felt it since. So, I don't think that it is fair to put it off on the Warrens, but do remind me this weekend, and I will tell the group about what happened to me about a week after Lorraine Warren passed away. I have not talked about it a lot. In fact, very little. There are probably no more than 100 people on the whole planet that know what happened to me after she died. Not only to me, but to my father, right here in this house. And
can't wait to hear it.
And I don't talk about it a lot because it takes a lot to frighten me, a lot. Like nothing scares me. And what happened didn't scare me. What was imparted to me is what scared me. Yeah, I will. I'll talk with you about that, and I'll talk with the people that are there. Scott, Julie, remind me. And I don't like to talk about it because I perceive that the information that I was given was extremely negatively charged. And I try to always remain mindful of staying in a place of love and peace and light. And that's why I feel like I'm protected and have been untouched by the nefarious forces, the cosmic forces that do swirl around that vortex of a farm from time to time. But this shook me to my core, and I was instructed to tell the world about it, and I still haven't found the courage to do it because it's very dark. So we'll talk about it outside. I don't want to talk about it inside the house.
I was actually going to suggest that we probably should discuss it not within the walls of the house.
Yeah. I mean, this is, serious metaphysical stuff that really altered the way that I thought about Lorraine, and altered the way that I think about the paranormal as a whole. I've always considered it a multidimensional phenomenon, but this is different. This is a warning to all of humanity. And it's a cautionary tale that I will share with you. And when the time comes that I feel that people are prepared to hear what I have to say, what I have to share that came from her, and then I will put it out in a broader spectrum. But this week alone, I will share it with the people that are at the farm.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just from reading your book and reading the movie, watching the movie, your parents never called the Warrens.
No.
They made it sound like they called them for help, but that never really happened.
5% of that movie is spot on accurate. And the other 95% was conjured in the minds of two screenwriters who were doing their level best to tell the story the best way that they could. But Mrs. Warren told me right to my face, I didn't give that. That's not, that didn't happen. And this didn't happen. And it's because we watched the movie the first time the two of us saw it. We saw it together about 3 months before the world premiere. And I just put my arm around her and I said, it's all in the script. It's all in the script. This is what they do. They take an absolutely phenomenal story where the truth is indeed stranger than fiction, and then they fictionalize it because they're quite sure that they know best, and maybe they do.
They do.
What people are prepared to see. Excuse me. I still have COVID, but I'm almost over it. I mean, it's long haul COVID. It's like the never ending COVID. This is the leftovers from Scotland.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I was lucky I didn't get the leftovers. I did get the Scottish COVID.
It was very polite and well-mannered, though.
It really was. Absolutely. Yes. It allowed me to sleep on the plane, coming home and drag my suitcase through Logan Airport and collapse when I hit my condo. It was quite polite, I must say.
It was extremely well-behaved compared to our own version. At least that's been my experience. I've now had it 4 times.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
oh,
And I'm
Annie.
still
Oh my
here.
gosh.
You know, I've gotten every shot you can possibly
Yeah.
get. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
That's
I'm
why
not
we're
going
still here.
to, yeah, I'm not going to let it dictate my life. You
There you
know, I'll
go.
take
Exactly.
precautions where I can, but I
Yeah.
can't go out into the world and do what I do, you know, and not risk
Right.
some level of exposure. It's not ever going away. So what are we all supposed to do? You know, climb into our clamshells and slam it down and say, all done with the world? We can't, we have to learn to live with it.
Life is
We
too
do.
short, honestly. Take the science. You know, I
Yeah.
worked at MIT for 30 years with scientists. I greatly respect them. Take the science and move on with our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Life is way too short.
I know. It is. And I'm feeling every minute of 90. I just turned 64 a couple of weeks ago. Jacqueline just had a birthday. You know, I mean, it's like, oh my God, what's happening?
What are you going to do?
What is this? You know, I know the alternative sucks, but you know, the years seem to tick off faster lately. You know,
I know. I turned 67 over the summer, and I wake up in the morning going, ouch. Oh, I didn't have that ache yesterday. Well, then again, you know, it is another 24 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we have at the farm the Halloween. Is it all weekend or is it just the Halloween stuff that you have?
We have stuff from 11 in the morning until 4 o'clock the next morning, starting on Friday.
Wow.
So we have tours, we have an extended tour, we have the movie night, we have witching hour ghost hunts going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So yeah, no, it's, you know, I had originally wanted to do something much larger scale, which I will plan to do for 2023 since it's the 10-year anniversary of the Conjuring movie. We have to do something big for that. But I need off-site parking, and I ran out of time to try and secure something. So everything that we're doing at the farm, and it has to be done in a way that people can come. I have expanded the parking, but people can come and then they need to leave so that more people can come, and then they need to leave so that we can have more people come, because we just don't have we don't have enough parking for the scale that I had originally wanted to do.
Yeah.
But next year it'll be a smooth running oiled machine. And if there's any issue with the multitude of available parking lots in Harrisville, just give me a call. I'll hop a plane and go talk to the town hall with you. Just bring me into, they all know me. I went to school with most of these people.
Yeah.
We'll take care of this because, you know, they just did a big thing. They filmed Hocus Pocus at the Chase Farm in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Years and years ago, you know, also a very funny, but it really a great Halloween movie. And they just did a huge event. They had thousands of people there. And the casino let them have the parking, and the library let them use the parking, and this one and that one and the other. And they just brought in shuttles of people. And then they shuttled them off site when they were done, and it ran flawlessly and smoothly. And so I want to know what the difference is between Lincoln promoting this kind of an event and Burrillville not really being so into it.
Well, you know, I don't want to point the fingers at the town of Burrillville. I was also late in trying to do it, and the one couple of places that I thought I had secured fell through. So then I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
So, you know, plus, you know, so a lot of it is, I probably needed to start planning Halloween the day I bought the property. And instead I waited until August to try and plan it. And it just but what we're doing is great. I'm excited. And you're coming.
Yeah. And, you know, they will absolutely play paranormal with us. I know that's coming. I know it is. It's just a matter of time of getting all of the ducks in a row and, you know, getting this. But yes, I've already booked next year with you. I mean, it's done. I mean, this whole block of time
that is
for
fantastic.
Next year,
yes.
I will be there.
Yes.
Ladies, I just want to tell you, we're down to like 5 minutes. I can't even believe the hours are. It just flies, you know. I gladly have the weekend to catch up.
No, you can't just say it flies. You have to say it flies like a witch on a stolen broomstick.
All right.
That's how you have to use
That's
that
what it
phrase.
is. And I want to tell you, because you will appreciate this, I need to tell you my Halloween joke before we break the show.
Okay.
What do you call...
Wait, let me get my eye roll ready.
Get ready.
Okay, go ahead, Scott.
What do you call a fun Italian ghost?
I'm thinking. I'm buying into this notion here. Ugh. I ain't got it.
A fun ghoul.
No.
Ladies, I gave you it. I gave it to you earlier.
You did.
A fun ghoul.
I was
That's
thinking
just
like,
wrong, Scott.
I know, I'm thinking like gelato. I mean, I'm like,
I know, me too. I'm thinking of gulato. That's what I thought. Gulato, you know?
Gelato. Oh, that would have been
Yeah.
good.
Now I need a gelato. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Jacqueline, how can people... I know you book up so quickly. So if people want to visit the house, you have day tours. And how do they find you?
Yeah, www.theconjuringhouse.com.
Fantastic.
And we have all of our experiences on the web. So we still have tours throughout the year. We still have some go events. We have a couple medium events coming up. So we're trucking along straight through and into 2023. We have a lot of bookings already for 2023.
That's great.
So, right.
Including us.
Someone asked me what we were going to do to decorate for Halloween, you know, what kind of props we were going to use. And I'm like, we are the prop.
Really?
Really, like,
We are, yes.
What else do you need?
we are the prop.
You know what I'm most thrilled about, and I won't take long to say this, but the thing that I am most thrilled about is this is one Halloween where the farm will not be desolate and alone, because all the years that we lived there, nobody ever came to the house for Halloween. It was just too remote. It was too spooky. It had too much of a reputation. Even my father would pack my sisters up and take them into the village to go around and collect candy. But nobody ever came to the house. And, you know, I look forward to this Halloween being an actual celebration of the place itself.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing all of you there.
Can't wait. We just can't wait. So, you know, just got a couple of minutes left. I just want to say thank you, ladies, for coming on the show. I know we planned this a long time ago, and I'm so great. Oh, there she is, Miss Princess.
Looking off the lip, Lord. Looking off the lip, Lord. Yes.
There she is.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
Oh,
And
it's such a
thank you.
pleasure. I look forward to
Thank
seeing you.
you. Thank you. It's been a great show.
If you
So
like,
looking forward to Sunday.
if you like the show, please give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. We would appreciate it so we can spread the word out. And next week, we're going to be talking to the Dominion Ministries with James Anito, talking about his society, the Dominion Ministries. You can look them up. We'll be talking to him next week. And
Plus, James has a trip coming up to Romania.
he does have a trip to Romania, so we'll talk
Yes.
about that.
This is
And
cool.
in the meantime, I get to spend Friday night with my producer, Bill Forte, in New York. We're doing an investigation, and then we're meeting back again on Sunday at the farm. So we get to be there, which should be a great experience. So really looking forward to that.
Remember the animatronic doll on the third floor. Don't get taken in like I was.
Well aware of the animatronic dolls. Yeah. It's all on video somewhere. But anyway.
Oh, it is. It's so, my shame is on video. Yes.
It is. So
Not the only one that's been caught. Yeah, I know. We've all had our moments. Yes.
So true.
Peanut Buttercup says good night to all.
good night.
And,
All
she's
right.
going
Good
to go
night,
have her
everyone.
supper.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Have a wonderful
Thank you,
weekend.
ladies.
A couple of
Thank you.
days.
See you Sunday.
Okay.
Bye, everyone, and thanks for
Bye.
watching. Take
Bye.
care.
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.